Hey everybody, welcome back. This is probably my 10th take. I've been having a difficult time trying to talk through this without going off the deep end. And I'll tell you why. I'm kind of frustrated, and I'm not normally like this. But the more I listen to these, the more I try to give them a chance, the more upset I'm getting. I'm going to walk you through my journey. I'm going to walk you through opening it and what it was like for me. This will go through, my impressions and how they started to form. And I want you to see where I got frustrated. Okay? So I open these up. So far, so good. It's a simple cardboard. It's not trying to overstate, anything in the boxing, which is fine. It's a good sign. It means they're saving their money for the product, which I appreciate. The packaging is economical and environmentally friendly. All good here. They've got two little boxes holding materials. They've got the cable. It's just a standard USB-C. You can use any USB-C you already have, so I didn't bother to take that out to charge it. And it has a bunch of tips, a very gracious amount of tips. It has foam tips, silicone tips. Get out there, use. There's a lot. They've got small, medium, large of silicone and foam. I think they might just have medium and large. And they've got all these little ring things that you can replace the buds. So I open the case, and I see that the right earbud is on the left side and the left earbud is on the right side. So if you want to just use your right hand to grab the right one, intuitively you would think I'm going to grab the right one and place it in my right ear. It's the opposite. I have to reach across and grab the left one because that's actually the right earbud and put that in my right ear. Not so bad. I did notice that the tip, it's a minor design quirk, but I'm not going to knock them for that. The tip was kind of floating in there at first. So I had to kind of get it out and snap it back on. No big deal. It even has a satisfying snap back on. No big deal. Just a minor inconvenience that it could fall off when you put it in and out of the case. The ring thing was fine. It fit in my ear when I tried putting it in my ear. It kind of looks a little bit funny. It's not the most traditional, contemporary, sexy design. It's more of it looks like a quarter in your ear with a tiny little, it kind of looks a little cheap, personally, I might say, with the multiple components and materials not playing nicely with each other in every way that you could imagine. It's not seamless in its design, but you know what? I'm an audiophile. I really don't care about the tiny aesthetic differences. I'm not going to look at these when they're in my ears. I care about the sound. So I put them in my ear. I kept the stock medium-sized silicone tips on them, and I put on my reference playlist. Have you heard where I'm frustrated yet? Because I'm not yet. None of that frustrated me. Not the size of the case, not the accessories, not even the fit once it was in my ear. I go to play my music, my reference playlist, the one I'm going to use for all my recordings from now on. I start on my jazz album. The jazz album starts a little quiet. Curious. I raise the volume. Still a little quiet. I raise the volume. It's at max volume. Oh no. At maximum phone volume, these things sound like 50% volume of what I feel like I get, at least, subjectively. Just telling you, it sounds so quiet compared to any of my wired stuff just coming out of a adapter, not even using an external amp. These things sound like they're half the volume as the other stuff. You know how much this pains me? I wouldn't really care if these sounded terrible. I wouldn't care if the mids and if the mids were shouty, the treble too sibilant, the bass too bloomy. But the mids were nice and they sounded clean, without fatigue. They didn't sound shouty or disproportionate. The treble had no sibilance, no shrillness. It sounded clean and well balanced. The bass, maybe a little more than I might prefer, but it had a thick, enveloping sound to it that gave a heft and, some degree of immersive quality to the music. but the overall volume was so poor, I couldn't enjoy my jazz. And you know what? I thought to myself, this is just jazz. I know jazz and classical, particularly classical, have a huge dynamic range of loudness. One moment can be the loudest crescendo ever, and the next moment could be the quietest. Listen carefully for the quietest strings to be plucked ever. So I went to my next track. I went to electronic, something with a more consistent squashed range where it's just thump, thump, sound, 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 busyness, a lot of stuff going on, and it was still too quiet. It was then and there I knew that this product was a real big disappointment. It sounded like the person who designed this, Grell, the same guy who designed my favorite headphones, potentially my most favorite headphones ever, the HD800, original HD800s. The one that I fell in love with in that audio shop once, listening to what would become my favorite jazz album of all time, S. Bjorn Svensson Trio's Live in Hamburg. The same person who designed that wonderful headphone, who designed these to sound what I thought sounded pretty well balanced and good, had to make a product that just didn't let me listen to it at a listenable volume. I am beyond disappointed with this, guys. I cannot with good conscience recommend these to anyone if anybody has a similar need for higher volume as I do. I don't know if it's good for my ears or not. You could argue, you could say, Dan, you're probably just listening to things too loud. You're weird and you're going to hurt your ears. You probably already have. But you know what? I can't be the only one who, despite that kind of warning, still thinks I want a little bit more headroom just so I can play with it a little bit. Maybe I can dance on the edge. Maybe instead of strictly keeping myself at 80 decibels, maybe I could try 83, 84. On those hearing charts, it says you can listen to like up to 85 for at least a few hours, right? Something like that. So let me listen to these for a good hour on louder volume. And you know what? I don't think they did that for hearing safety. I think what happened was a tech limitation. I think because of the batteries, they probably couldn't let you raise it too much without sacrificing battery life on a charge. And if you're trying to release a wireless product, especially to the mainstream, who expects long-lasting battery life, you can't sell something that's only going to last for 30 minutes at a volume that you would get with a wired piece of gear. And maybe that's what it would be. Maybe it was a non-starter for them to consider a higher volume. Maybe they encountered that problem in engineering and they discussed it at a table, at a meeting at some. I could just imagine that. Somebody says it's too soft, and somebody else says yes, but the batteries, we can't handle all the ANC, the noise canceling, the transparency mode, the microphone array, the touch sensors, and the playback volume. We can't do all that with a reasonable amount of battery life. We can't raise the volume. We have to cut somewhere. I think that's might have what did it. What I would love to see is a wireless version of this. I don't know if this solves the problem. I'm not an engineer. But if they could make a wireless product that did not, I listened to them without all the features on anyway. I turned off ANC. I turned off transparency. I listened to it in completely normal mode. If they made a normal mode only device and that allowed them to pump the volume up, I would love to try that. Maybe even take out the touch capacitance stuff. Just give me wireless. Just make a product, guys. Can somebody make a product that devotes all its attention to pure sound quality and cutting out a wire? If it means if the way to keep battery life is to get rid of the smart features, then get rid of the smart features. Just make the best tuned wireless thing you can and let me pump up the volume, okay? Rant over, guys. I could talk about a bunch of stuff here, but I'm not gonna. These are a great sounding pair of wireless buds, maybe the best out there, but it doesn't matter because they're not loud enough. I would still prefer an AirPod Pro over these, because at least with the AirPod Pros, with their even balance, at least they're louder to my ear. I could be wrong. Maybe I need to listen to AirPod Pros again. It's been quite a long time. So maybe I'm just going off of memory, to be honest. But maybe then I wouldn't recommend AirPod Pros anymore either. But I can't recommend these. At their current standing, I would say B+ for sound quality, maybe B- if I'm going to be actually harsh and realistic, because I can't enjoy them at their current volume. I enjoy the tuning, but not the volume. That's my conclusion. I'll see you for the next one. I'm going to make an impression video for the Xduoo SA6 as well as Moondrop variations that came to me from a fan. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to you later when I make those videos. I haven't even unpacked and tried them yet, but super excited to record my samples and tell you guys about it. And I will be having a shootout video coming soon. I'm editing it right now, comparing the Tin Hi-Fi T3 Plus, the Melee, the Moondrop Aria, and the Obsidian for just some comparison. All right, see you for the next one, everybody. Peace.